Hello, Babs. Back with more books. Uh, Trying to float. Coming of age in the Chelsea Hotel. I thought I bought the other book about the Chelsea Hotel that I saw, but I don't think I did, bruv. So now I'm stuck with this piece of shit. Part Eloise, part the Grand Budapest Hotel, part early David Sedaris, a 17-year-old's darkly funny Brighton memoir about growing up in a legendary New York City hotel. Alright, there's a real book. The Shadows of Power, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the American Decline. There they are. New World Order bastards. All of them. Hedley Donovan of Time. And Dan Rather. What a shock that Dan Rather's part of the CFR. There he is, Red Ronnie. Corby. All of them. Does America have a hidden oligarchy? Is U.S. foreign policy run by a closed shop? What is the Council on Foreign Relations? It began in 1921 as a front organization by J.P. Morgan and Company. By World War II, it had acquired unrivaled influence on American foreign policy. Hundreds of U.S. government administrators and diplomats have been drawn from its ranks, regardless of which party has occupied the White House. But what does the Council on Foreign Relations stand for? Why do the major media avoid discussing it? What has been its impact on America's past? And what is it planning for the future? These questions and more are answered by James Perloff in The Shadows of Power. Caste and Class in a Southern Town. By John Dollard. The anchor edition of this classic work of social psychology appears at a time when the recent Supreme Court decision has made it impossible to ignore the issue of racial segregation. John Dollard's analysis of the effects of the long-established patterns of discrimination upon the Negro and white citizens of a single Southern town poses the general problem in the specific terms of social research, candid and perceptive. Caste and Class in a Southern town provides a rational approach to a subject which is the source of so much irrationality. In Search of Historic Jesus by Lee Roddy and Charles Seller. Was he the Son of God? Astonishing new revelations the Bible doesn't tell us. Astonishing new revelations the Bible doesn't tell us, I should say. Now a startling film from Sun Classic Pictures. Astounding new questions to the most controversial questions of all time. 2,000 years ago on a hillside near Jerusalem, Jesus was put to death by a crucifixion. Was he an ordinary man, a great prophet, or was he in fact a divine being, the Son of God? In Search of Historic Jesus explores the many baffling mysteries the scriptures cannot answer. Mysteries now illuminated for the first time by amazing evidence drawn from ancient legend and modern science. The New Testament is strangely silent about Jesus' life from the time he was 12 until he began his public ministry at the age of 30. Where was he? Was Jesus the boy god of pagan Britain? Was he the bearded white god of Aztec mythology who was born of a virgin? Could heal the sick, was crucified in a far-off land, rose from the dead, and promised to return? Could Jesus actually perform miracles, as the Bible claims? Is the image on the sacred shroud of Turin the face of Jesus? Assembly 85. What is this, bruv? Oh, almighty internal God. This is a struggle, buddy. The Revolutionary Samuel Adams by Stacy Schiff. Samuel Adams, of course, was the engine of the revolution. If there was any leader of the American Revolution, Thomas Jefferson asserted, Samuel Adams was the man. With high-minded ideas and bare-knuckle tactics, Adams led what could be called the greatest campaign of civil resistance in American history. Stacy Schiff returns Adams to his seat of glory, introducing us to the shrewd, eloquent man who supplied the revolution's moral backbone, a singular figure as a singular moment. Adams amplified the Boston Massacre. He helped to mastermind the Boston Tea Party. He employed every tool in his innovative arsenal to rally a town, a colony, and eventually a band of colonies behind him, creating the cause that created the country. For his efforts, he became the most wanted man in America. When Paul Revere rode to Lexington in 1775, it was to warn Samuel Adams that he was about to be arrested for treason. Yeah, that was the man. Not much of a fucking brewer, but he was the man. What the fuck was that? Moonraker's Bride, a novel of romantic suspense by Madeline Brent, author of Tregarron's Daughter. It's a gothic romance. The stranger she married that night was gone by morning, but for the rest of her days she would be Moonraker's bride. China at the turn of the century was the only home Lucy Waring had ever known. Though her parents were British, Lucy viewed the world through Chinese eyes and believed, with the rest of the village, that foreign devils were to be distrusted and feared. Therefore, it was with some trepidation that she confronted the flaxen-haired horseman who spoke a strange riddle. Above the twisted giant's knife, where the wind-blown blossom flies, stands the temple where fortune lies. She could not know it, but his quest and her fate were soon to be inextricably linked together. What began outside the mission school in Sin Kaifeng continues some years later in another confrontation within its walls, where Lucy discovers that her life is in danger. Yeah, this is gothic romance. Probably worth $10. This book, probably worth $1 million. Let me sneeze here. African Woman, the Original Guardian Angel by Ishikamusa Barashango. A collection of writings on the black woman's creation of and ongoing contribution to world civilization. December 1989. Does that say bet? $12 bet. First printing. This book is dedicated to the Trinity. Some of the black women have been so essential in my life. What the fuck is this? Thought it was written by a black chick, but apparently it's just some black dude trying to get props. Hopefully that book's worth some money. Pokemon Splashdown in Cerulean City. Gotta catch them all. This is from my child. Never too old for Pokemon, apparently. Reflecting on the Bell Jar by Pat McPherson. The summer they didn't know what I was doing in New York. Heroines. Why is Esther Greenwood a heroine for our age? In the 1950s, the USA was in the grip of Cold War paranoia and McCarthyism. Communism and gender maladjustment were twin threats to the social ideas of family and security. Pat McPherson reads the Bell Jar in the context of the stifling regime of social hygiene and the therapeutic culture that supported and sustained its norms. As challenging and thought-provoking as the novel itself, reflecting on the Bell Jar provides a new approach to one of feminism's most difficult heroines. Never read the Bell Jar, but I've got about 17,000 copies. Warren Wiersbe. The Strategy of Satan, How to Detect and Defeat Him. Must be pretty easy because it's in a mass market paperback. What year is this? 80s? 1979. This book is a manual of arms for the Christian soldier. It is not a devotional reader for the believer who has gone AWOL. It is a deadly serious guidebook for the dedicated Christian who is on the battlefield and wants to know how to win. Warren W. Wiersbe discusses basic biblical instruction on defeating the strategies of the devil. Centering his material around Satan's attacks as deceiver, destroyer, ruler, and accuser, the author emphasizes conquering the enemy by obeying God's truth. Chapters are included on defeating the devil in the church and the home. Dr. Wiersbe is the general director of the Back to the Bible radio broadcast. He was for many years senior pastor of Chicago's historic Moody Church. His other books include His Name is Wonderful, 5 Secrets of Living, and William Culbertson, A Man of God. I also bought 2 movie magazines. Never heard of them before, but they look like they're worth something. Imagine Movies, H.R. Geiger, Conjuring Designs for Fox's Alien. Necronomicon, filming H.P. Lovecraft's famed Book of the Dead, spring 94. Then the other copy is winter 94, Imagine Movies, Frankenstein, Making Interview with the Vampire, Movie Vampirism Beyond Dracula. Stitching Together Robert De Niro and Mary Shelley's horror classic. Did not know that fucking Chumbawamba fuck was Frankenstein. It's pretty funny that he was. Mistress of the Vatican, The True Story of Olympia Meidalcini, the Secret Female Pope. Now, I could have swore I had other books on the female pope, and they all seem to have the different name. Oh, this is some fucking fat print here. Tamara, Mistress of the Vatican. Is this supposed to be large print? I mean, it is, so. Damn, that's a large print. Let's see what it says. Fuck is that? The Roto-Rooter. Beginning in 1644, Olympia Meidalcini, sister-in-law and reputed mistress of the indecisive Pope Innocent X, ran the Vatican. On the day Innocent was elected, it was said, "We have elected a female pope." Born in modest circumstances, nearly forced into a convent at age 15, Olympia vowed never to be poor or powerless again, and indeed Olympia ran the Vatican for 11 years, exacting excruciating revenge on anyone who tried to lock her up or curb her power. Mistress of the Vatican vividly brings to life not only a woman in a church, but the entire civilization. It's all of its greatness and its ignominy. Right. The Ultimate Witch, Dean Koontz, Ray Bradbury, Kenneth Lee. New and cutting-edge stories by some of the world's leading authors. The Ultimate Witch. The Witch of the Moon, The April Witch. Aurora's Cure, Wooden Druthers, Reunion, Crawling from the Wreckage, Inscription. Easy Tom of the Seven Highways to Constantinople. Right. Assuming it's stories about witches. In this haunting and provocative collection, some of the best-known authors of the fantastic and the mysterious explore the legends and lore of witches and witchcraft. From Dean Koontz's tale of a witch's revenge on a purse snatcher to Jane Yolen's story of sorcery in the old Scotland. From S.P. Santos' eerie look at magic in modern-day Hollywood to Kenneth Lee's story of enchantment in an exotic land. Here are spectacular stories transcending time and place. And speaking of, well, not witches, but paranormal bitches, The Blood Canticle by Anne Rice, The Vampire Chronicles. I don't know why I paid $2 for this book today, but I mean, it's obviously worth $2. It's first edition. No, it is a book of the month, though. The Vampire Chronicles. Well, she's dead, so she can't sign it. But I have it now. Go with me collection of others. What else do I got? I bought this today at the last thrift store I went to. Step Thrift. $3.03. It says eaten, but it's been eaten up by time. This says Globe Wernicke, number 7310. There's a key in there, but I don't know why the fuck there's a key since there's no lock on this beast. But maybe it was a lock to something important. No, it says Sears. Sears. There's the Sears. And Jeanette McKenna, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. That's the previous owner. And I will fill this with postcards. Cool beans. Peace.